A video clip has been brought.
Sorry, my lord. My colleague, Advocate Mnisi, went out to his chambers since we had a meeting this morning with the judges. He was not robbed when he arrived this morning.
So he's gone to chambers to go and rope?
To go and rope and get his material.
Find us on the way. Yes. We shall tell him what the learned prosecutor says.
As a court, please, my lord, after yesterday's proceedings,
yes,
a video clip has been brought to the state's attention, which in our submission, my lord, might amount to contempt of court in facie curiae. And, you know, we just seek guidance of the court. We're ready to play the clip here that shows one of the accused making certain gestures to the witness whilst he was testifying. And, you know, we just seek the court's guidance as whether this court prepared to watch the clip and that an inquiry be made regarding that possible charge of contempt of court in facie curiae.
Who brought the video into your attention?
Yes.
Somebody brought it to your attention?
Yes, the investigating team. Yes.
Oh, the investigating team?
Yes. It's a clip of this camera, my lord, that captured one of the accused making gestures to this witness while he was testifying.
Yeah. And okay, we have to view it because yes, I can't determine without seeing it whether there's a contempt of court.
As a court, please.
Have you advised Mr. Mnisi what is happening?
Bafethu ke umshushisi akwazisa inkantolo ukuthi ngaphambili kokuthi ufakazi abizwe ikhona ke ivideo abayibonileke ithimba leli liphenye icala abamkhombise yona ke leyo video ukhona omunye wabasolwa akhona akwenzayo kuyena ufakazi ofakazayo manje ithi inkantolo ngaphambi kokuthi ngathatha isinqumo ngayo leyo video leyo kufanele iqale ibone sana ukuthi yini leyo elapho kuleyo video.
Yeah, okay, let's see the video. Because remember how the press should behave. You remember that order we made?
Yes. Yes.
Regarding reportage, the press, what shouldn't happen, what should happen, etc.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see whether it contravenes any of that order. Yeah, I can see.
Yes. Maybe it can be played again.
Yes, start it from the beginning. Which accused is that?
It's accused number 5, my lord.
Accused number 5?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the end of the video?
Yes, it's just those gestures that have been made, my lord.
Yeah. Accused number 5. Do you see yourself there?
Mr. Ntuli, yabuza ujudge ukuthi uyayibona lapha kuleyo video. Yes, I do, my lord.
What were you intending to convey to the witness?
Objection, my lord. My lord, the accused is represented.
Ms. Mshorana? Just sit down. I have seen the video and I am asking the accused. You will make your representation thereafter. Now you want to make the representations before you have even heard me. Is that what you're saying?
At the court business.
Which procedure is that? Yes, sir. What were you intending to convey, or what are you conveying? If at all you're conveying anything.
Uma ukuthi khona ukushoyo okudlulisayo yini lokudlulisa noma bekuyisifiso sakho sokuthi undlulise.
Hayi ukuthi ngisakhumbuza ukuthi ngikhuluma ngoba lokho okhuluma ngayo shera banombono.
I can't even remember what it is that I was talking about because the person that is being referred to, my lord, is seated here as the witness is pointing, and the prosecutor is obscuring the view. I can't even see that person.
My question is simple. What were you intending to convey, if at all? I'm not talking whether you see the witness or what. I'm looking at that clip, and I see you're making facial gestures and expressions. Just want to understand, what were you intending to convey to whoever? I never spoke about the witness.
Inkantolo ithi ayikhulumanga ngofakazi nokuthi bekubani-ke noma uma kuwukuthi kukhona lokho kukusho bekuyini noma lokho kuhlose ukuthi ukusho uthi akakhulumanga ngofakazi uthi ukhuluma nje ngalokho akubonayo la kwividiyo ujaji. I can't remember what it is that we're talking about because there is a lot that we are discussing, pointing to where they are seated.
Yes, Mr. Msholo. Any submissions regarding what is happening in the clip about your client?
Thank you, my lord. I have consulted with Mr. Ntuli regarding this clip, my lord. The problem we had firstly is that there are no utterances that we could hear from the video clip.
Have you heard of sign language? It's now official. It's an official language, sign language. Right, you heard me. So?
Yes, and then when I was asking him as to what was he doing, Mr. Ntuli, my lord, denies that he was referring to the witness when he was speaking with the gesture depicted in the video clip. As you can see, my lord, that he was speaking next to number 4, who was next to him, not that he was speaking to the witness.
Okay, fine. Mr. Baloy?
As a court, please, my lord, from the clip it can be seen that there's a gesture of a pulling of a trigger, and to me, my lord, that is very serious.
He says he was just speaking.
Yes. At this stage, my lord, we just request the court to bring it to the attention of all the accused that interfering with any witnesses might amount to contempt of court in facie curiae, and that they should desist from such conduct.
Okay.
Yes. And I can refer the court to this handbook by Sneyman Criminal Law, 7th edition.
Just read that for us.
At page 287.
You must interpret for the accused.
Inkantolo isenikeza-ke ithuba ummeli wakho Mr. Ntuli uthi-ke niyena akhuluma-ke nobabili waphika-ke wena ukuthi nje kukhona lokho ubukusho noma ukubhekisa-ke kuyena ufakazi ola enkantolo ubukhuluma kodwa-ke nalo oseduze kwakho ku-accused number 4. Umshushisi-ke uma senikezwe ithuba nayo uyaphendula-ke uthi kuyabonakala lapha yagrikile ukuthi-ke kukhona la utshengisa khona noma-ke wenza uphawu khona-ke lokudonsa noma lokuphula i-trigger uthi into ayibonile-ke leyo umshushisi usecela inkantolo-ke manje ukuthi ikhiphe isixwayiso kubo bonke abasolwa ukuthi ukuphazamisana nofakazi efakaza lana-ke ukuthi inkantolo ifanele inaziseke ukuthi lokho kungenzani noma kunamiphumela yini.
Yes, Mr. Baloy.
The court, please, my lord, says the handbook of Sneyman Criminal Law, 7th edition, where the learned author discusses contempt of court, and he defines it as follows. Contempt of court consists in unlawfully and intentionally violating the dignity, rapid or authority of a judicial body or a judicial officer in his judicial capacity, and he then discusses the various forms of contempt of court, both outside and in court. And when he discusses contempt of court in facie curiae, that is inside court, he mentions the following examples: interfering with witnesses or presiding officer. He says X commits contempt of court if he improperly influences or attempts to influence a judge, magistrate, assessor, party to a case, complainant or accused, and in this instance, witness, interpreter, or legal representative in a case, in the decision he has to make in the case, the evidence he has to give, This is our instance. Or generally the way in which he has to conduct himself during the trial. The act may take the form of intimidating the person concerned, and this we submit, my lord, is on all fours with what we, the clip that we have just shown. As indicated, my lord, at this stage, we're not going to insist on a formal inquiry. We just want the court to admonish all the accused that such conduct must fall foul of the law and constitute contempt of court in Fakikura.
Fine, Mr. Rapelesi, before you, Ramasipidi, sorry, any comments as an officer of this court about the strictures of the law which Mr. Balui has read for us? Any comment?
As the court pleases, my lord, I was also made aware before we came to chambers, my lord, and upon our return, I did also speak to accused number 1 and 2 about the required conduct in court, my lord, as the court pleases.
Mr. Mnisi?
As it is the court, my lord, it is indeed so that trial should take place in an open and fair environment that is free from intimidation. However, in the context of the case, it does sometimes happen that flares temper. What do they call it now? Yes, flares temper or tempers flares. I think we should just request the accused people to refrain from doing that, because that affects the quality in which the witnesses will be giving their testimony. And vice versa, witnesses should also, if there are any witnesses, they should also be cautioned not to do or say something that will affect the emotions of the accused. Thank you very much. And I'm very grateful to the state, the manner in which it approached this matter. Thank you.
Mr. Lumano?
My lord, it was also brought to me this morning. I have also raised it with my client that they should, respect the decorum of the court. That is far I can take it. Thank you.
Ms. Msholo, want to add?
Thank you, my lord. Just very few submissions, my lord. I also appreciate, my lord, what has been brought to the attention of this court, especially a reference to the Sneyman criminal law, what is contained there regarding the behavior in which we should behave, including our clients, as well as the witnesses in this court. However, my lord, I would also like to put it on record that if the state was serious and aware of what has been brought to the attention of this court, this ought to have been brought first time when Mr. Tumelo insulted at our clients, and the state did not do anything. So I appreciate what is being done now, so that the witnesses also, they will be told that they are not allowed to insult at our clients. As much as our clients also are not supposed to behave in any manner, the witnesses too should be warned for the same. And also, my lord, lastly, to say regarding the actions when they are sitting in the witness at the box, maybe we need to get a clarity there whether they should not make any actions, something like that, my lord.
If you want to question, you can go.
Thank you, my lord.
No problem.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, I've got 50 years experience in criminal law. And I'm just generally telling you this. I know all the tricks. I can tell you, I saw those gestures when the witness who did a turnabout under cross-examination by Mr.
The other day.
Yes, I was watching. I just kept quiet.
Thank you, my lord.
If you want to confirm this, you can ask the JP. I brought it to the attention of the JP. So I'm saying bad, please.
Thank you, my lord.
I'm not. Not this judge.
Indeed, my lord, we are indebted to the court generally, and unfortunately, my lord, for some of us, we don't have eyes at the back, we just focused.
No, I'm just saying I noticed it. Okay. I noticed it. You must know that.
Inkantolo isinikeza bonke ke abameli benu ithuba ke ukuthi baphefumuleke emuva kokuthi umshushisi esefundile ukuthi umthetho uthinike ngendlela yokuyiphatha enkantolo yabasola abamangalelwa abofakazi kukhulunyiwe futhi njengabo bonke abantu basebenza enkantolo ngizwile kukhulunywa futhi nangaye uToleka so indlela nje yomuntu wonke ukuthi ayiphathe enkantolo bathi ke banemeke ngalokho ukuthi kulethiwe kodwa ke wabesengeza basho abameli benu ukuthi bakhulumile nani ukuthi ke kufanele kwenziweni ke enkantolo wasengeza ke uadvocate Mshololo ukuthi ke nabofakazi bayacela kunabo ukuthi ke babe nendlela ke yokukhulumisana nabamangalelwa enkantolo uma bekukuthi banikeze ngobufakazi babo. Okunye kongezile futhi ujaji ke ukuthi nangaleli yalanga ke kwakunomunye umfakazi wayekhona lana uma ngaphosisike ngicabanga ukuthi kukhulunywa ngayo ukuthelezi ukuthi wabona ke nangalelo langa futhi ukuthi kukhona kwenziwe kodwa wathatha nje isinqumo sokuthi uzothula ngeke uthi uyafuna nje nikwazi lokho ukuthi wabona nangalelo langa kufakaza ukuthelezi ukuthi kukhona kwakwenziwe ngathi ukuthelezi eseshintsha ke kwinkulumo yakhe.
Okay, thanks. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, Mr. Badwe.
As a court, please, my lord, we can also confirm that what the court has remarked now regarding the other witness, Mr. Buthelezi, that was also brought to our attention.
No, I saw it.
Hence, we felt that that the accused should be admonished about such conduct.
I saw it. I just kept quiet. That's why I mentioned it. Okay, Mr. Baloy, let's start. As requested by the state, my lord, we just request that the accused be admonished and be made aware that such conduct will in future perhaps might attract sanctions.
The contempt of court process.
Yeah, only accused are warned to desist. Disturbing the decorum of this court whilst witnesses were giving evidence. No gestures should be directed at the witnesses.
Bayaxwayiswa bonke abasola ukuthi ngathi ke ofakazi noma ofakazi benikeza ngobufakazi kungabikho ke abakwenzayo ukuphazamisana nofakazi nkathi ethula ubufakazi bakhe enkantolo.
I read the case for all the accused counsels, R versus Hepworth of 1928, which says a criminal case is not a joke. Not a joke. Serious matter.
Kunecala ke la ngo 1928 ka Hepworth ebengifundele bonke abameli benu ke ukuthi ke enkantolo akusona ke indawo la kwenziwa khona ke amahlaya.
Okay.
Serious court.
So you are warned accordingly.
Nexwayiswa ke.
Yes, Mr. Baloy.
As a court, please, my lord, the witness can come in.
Yeah, you still on the oath, sir?
Usengaphansi kwaso isifungo busithathe izolo baba. Understood, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Baloy.
As a court, please, yesterday when we adjourned, you were still telling the court about the photos of the accused that you've received. You can continue from there.
Izolo ke uma sesiqedela ke sekuphele isikhathi ke ubusakhuluma ngazo ke ithombe zabasola owayithola noma owayitholile usungaqhubeka ke usuka khona lapho.
You will still explain as to how you received those photos.
Ubusachaza ukuthi ithombe lezo wayithola kanjani.
Ithombe engangiyitholile ngayithola kwifoni ka Gwabini.
The photos that I received them from Gwabini's phone. I then sent them to my phone.
And when was that?
Kwakunini lokho?
Noma ngakhumbula i-date kodwa kwakwesikhathi sidibene eThembisa.
Although I can't remember the date, but it was at the time when we had met in Tembisa.
Which year, more or less?
Kuphi unyaka? 2019.
Did you take any action as a result of those photos? Did you do anything with them?
Kukhona owakwenza ngazo lezo zithombe lezo. Yes.
Yes. And which accused are you referring to here?
Ibaphi abasolo khuluma ngabo la?
Accused number 1 and number 2.
Accused number 1 and number 2. So la uqala kanye nowesibili.
Yes, and what did you do with those photos?
Waye wenzani ke ngalezo zithombe lezo?
Ngayikhipha iphone yami lo general ayifuna ukuyibona.
I then downloaded them and took them from my phone because the general wanted to see them.
Which general?
Muphi general?
General
Lishabani.
Yes.
Yebo. Singaqhubeka.
Yes. Yes. What did you do with those photos?
Waye wenzani ngalezo zithombe?
You say you downloaded them. What did you do?
Then ngayibonisa yena.
And then showed him the pictures.
Who?
Ubani?
General
Lishabani.
Okay. And can you just explain what was the purpose of showing him the pictures?
Awusho nje kwakuyini ke inhloso yokumtshengisa ithombe lezo?
ayifuna ukubona abasolwa izithombeni ukuthi laba abasolwa khuluma ngabo.
He wanted to see the suspects in pictures as to which suspect was I talking about.
And just lastly, Mr. Zungu, you mentioned that you did partake in some alcohol on the particular evening. What was the state of your sobriety?
Ushilo ke ukuthi nani noma wawuphuza ngaleli langa leliyana ke ngathi isimo sakho ke njengoba wawuphuzileke wawukusiphi isimo?
Ngiphuzile kodwa ngangaphuzanga dawa.
I think that I had consumed some alcohol, but not to, but I wasn't drunk.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Is that it? Yes, Mr. Ramusepedi.
Mr. Court, this is my lord. I thought Mr. Malvin was going to be.
You thought what?
He was going to be a bit long, so I didn't set up my conditions. Now, sir, you testified that at some stage when you were at Fosloras Hostel, you were asked to move your car out of the way because you had parked somebody in. You did that, and in the process, you removed a bag. You removed a bag from your car, put your service pistol in it, and the car keys, and then you went inside Guaveni's place, correct?
Ubufakazi bakho ushilo ke ukuthi la ophake khona awuphake ukuthi ukhona ke lo owumvalele wasuhamba ke lapho kuyosusa imoto leyo wakhipha khona ke ibag ya isikhwama sakho isibhamu sakho sasemsebenzini wase ubuyela ngaphakathi kokwabini.
Yebo.
Yes.
And further that you then gave Gwabeni the bag containing the firearm, the service pistol, and the car keys for him to store it for you, correct?
Wase uma songena ngaphakathi ke wanikeza yena ke uGwabini isikhwama leso ke esasinesibhamu sakho kanye nekhiya zemoto ukuthi ayibambe.
Isibhamu sakho sikimi, ibag yayibuye amnikeza lethi isibhamu.
The firearm was with me. He had the bag, and then I later on gave him the firearm.
Okay. So, just for clarity's sake, that firearm, when you give it to him, Did he place it in that bag that we also gave him, or he stored it separately away from the bag?
Uma usumnikeza isibhamu leso ke ingaba wasithatha isibhamu wasifaka kusona isikhwama lesi ubumnikeze sona kuqala noma wabeka isibhamu kwenye ihlangothi wasebeka isibhamu kwenye ihlangothi?
Ngabeka isikhwama kuqala isibhamu sabakini isikhathi eside sahleli.
Okay, I first placed the bag there, and then for the longer time the firearm was in my possession. Yebo.
Okay. But eventually you gave him the firearm to spray for you.
When we started drinking, I then left the firearm with him.
But what I want to get to is that firearm, was it placed in the very same bag that you gave him that had your car keys?
Manje engifuna ukwazi kuwena ukuthi angithi manje isikhwama bese sikuyena vele. Uma usumnikeza isibhamu ke manje ngabe usithathile isibhamu wasifaka kulesi isikhwama bese sikuyena vele noma wasibeka nje kwe?
Angiboni ukuthi mhlawumbe wasifaka ku bag noma kuthiwa wasifaka ngabe uyasifaka kodwa ngamnikeza isibhamu besayidini.
I don't think that he placed the firearm in the bag. If it is so, then he must have done that on his own. But I gave the firearm to him aside.
Now, just give me the setting of, because I want to understand the context of that area where you were at. Gwabeni's room, the common use area that is inclusive of the kitchen. Can you describe that for me so that I've got an idea of what was happening? Because you said there was party, there was drinking, there was ingoma, a dance and meat and all of that.
Kona konke ke lokushilo ukuthi gidwa ke kwakudliwa inyama kwakuphuzwa konke lokho sengifuna nje ukwazi ke uma ungachaza le ndawo le inanihlezi kuyona ke ukuthi ile ndawo le inanihlezi kuyona usihlanganisa ukuthi uyindawo ekanjani.
Njoba ngishilo ukuthi ihostel le indawo enespace ezivulekile for abantu bonke ikamero eli lomuntu likaGwabi njengalo liqondane naye le ndawo hall.
As I've said, that the hostel is an open space and a bigger space for everyone, and then Gwabeni's bedroom is facing the halls. In other words, when you're at the hall, you are facing Gwabeni's bedroom.
And from there, because you had a firearm that was stored that you had to keep an eye on because there was lots of movement, and that's a state pistol. How far were you seated from Gwabeni's room in relation to that common area, the kitchen, so that you can observe perhaps somebody going into Gwabeni's room?
Nanjengoba ke kwakuyisibhamu somsebenzi lesi sibhamu sombuso kwaye futhi ke ufuneke ke kwakufanele ukuthi usiqaphile la ohlezi khona ke wawukude kangakanani ke nekamera leliyana likaGwabeni la ukuthi isibhamu noma ungakwazi ukuthi ubone.
Njoba ngangihleli la mangifika sifika ngasaphuza ngabeshiya isibhamu fike sahlala saxoxa bephuzo ngaleso sikhathi abanye bebephuza.
Okay, ngizibamba lapha. Where I was seated, it was not a matter of as we arrived or as I arrived we started drinking. We sat down, we had some conversation, others were drinking. Yebo.
Emva kwalokho ngathi mangiphuma ngoba lokho ngibuze ngibeka isibhamu sami ngangibalekela ukuthi mangiphuma naso ngoba sasikile kwangenzeka umuntu afika asidonse aphume naso.
Now
ngakho ngabona ngoba sesiphuzile manje nochama kungenzeka kube khona osidonsayo.
Now when I went out, the reason why I decided to leave the firearm on my way out, I was thinking that maybe because now we had already started drinking, when I went out to relieve myself or to urinate, someone might pull it. Hence I decided to leave it.
And when you hand the fire up, stress that, I'll come to that. Tell me about illumination in that area, the kitchen area plus Gwabeni's room at the time.
La enanihlezi khona kanye nekamera lelana kwaGwabeni ke awusho ukuthi ukhanya kwakukanjani ukhanya.
Njoba ngangihleli ngibheka umnyango kaGwabini sho ngangibona yonke into eyenzakalayo wonke umuntu ongena ekamereni kaGwabini uphuma khona uwenza lo wonke kwakwenza ekamereni kaGwabini ngangubona ingakho ngangihleli la.
Hence I was seated where I was seated. I was in a position to see everything that was happening in Gwabeni's bedroom. Anyone was going out, was going into the bedroom, coming out of it. I was in a position to see everything happening in that bedroom.
Yes, but I'm talking about illumination, where the lights in the area in that common use area.
La inanhlezi khona sengikhuluma manje ke ngama lights ukuthi kwakhanya yini kwakunama lights ayekhona yini. Obviously there were lights.
And when you hand the firearm to Gwabini, was it in its holster or did you give him the bare firearm?
Ngathi umnikeza uGwabini umnikeza isibhamu leso sikwi holster noma wamnikeza nje sona sisodwa?
Ngamnikeza sona sisodwa.
The bare firearm.
Did Gwabini have a safe to store a firearm for you?
Ingaba wayene safe yini uGwabini ukuthi angagcinela isibhamu?
Siqinisekiso salokho anginaso kodwa ngamnikeza ukuthi akwazi ukuyikhipha endlini yakhe ngoba kwakhiyekile futhi kwakungene nongangena ngenye access ngaphandle kokuthangele la kanile phambili.
Uthe awuyazi wena no yeke but awazi ukuthi wayene safe. Yes, about the safe I have no knowledge about the safe, but what I know is that the bedroom was locked. There was no other access. So anyone who wanted to enter that bedroom, I had to go through that door.
And did he show you exactly where he stored the firearm for you?
Ingabe wakhombisa yini la isibhamu asithathe wasibeka khona?
Akamtshengisanga kodwa ngangazi ukuthi sisendlini ngoba bangenawo wardrobe.
He didn't show me, but I knew that it was in the house because there was no wardrobe.
Now, as a police officer, you were trained in firearms, safekeeping, storage, and the like, correct?
Nanjengephoyisa ngithi wakuthola uqeqeshwa ngokuphatha isibhamu ngokukhipha ukugcina isibhamu sisafe nokustore.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you also knew that it's a criminal offense for somebody to store a firearm for you when it's not stored in a safe, strong room or other device in terms of the Firearms Control Act when the firearm is not in your possession.
As a court, please, my lord, we object to that kind of, or at least the witness should be warned that there's no obligation on him to answer any question that might incriminate him.
Yes, you say the witness is immune from self-incrimination because he's got rights in terms of Section 35
yes,
of the Constitution.
Yes.
So you're obliged to warn him best.
Yes, he did so
that he can exercise his rights to silence if he wants to. Or he can answer you after you told him, no problem.
Okay, sir. Now, let me withdraw that question and ask it again. I'm going to ask you a question that may perhaps lend you into a problem with the law.
Angiqala lana ke ngithi ngizobuza umbuzo osengakufaka noma ongenzeka ukuthi ungakufaka enkingeni emthethweni.
And in terms of Section 35(3)(d), I mean 35 generally, not specific sections, you've got the right to remain silent, you've got the right to have a lawyer of your own choice, legal.
The Act doesn't say that.
Yeah.
He's not arrested.
Oh, let me leave that. Okay, all right, let me leave that. You've got the right not to answer a question that incriminates you. If you don't want to comment, you cannot comment. If you can, you may.
Lo mbuzo ke kuwena ke ukuthi uphenduleke uma ubona ukuthi cha awufuni ukuthi noma akusiyona ke inhloso yakho ukuthi uphendule ungashoke kanjalo.
I was giving him the warrant officers. Sorry about that. So, just this question. It's not a lot of questions that deals with incrimination. Just this one. And the question is this.
Sorry. What is his answer about the warning?
Kulesixwayiso osinikezwayo uthini?
Ngiyasizwa.
Yeah, it mala.
So can I pose the question to you, then you decide whether you want to answer it or you remain silent?
I'll decide once you have asked the question.
No, could you decide before you answer the question?
Okay, umehluleka ucela ukuthi decide manje ke ngaphambi kokuthi ubuze umbuzo.
If umbuzo ubhekisa kimi ngicela ungawuphendula.
If it's a question directed at me, I'm asking not to answer it.
I respect that. Now, did Gwabini possess a license in order for him to store that firearm for you?
Ingabe uGwabeni wayenelayisenisi yini emnikeza ke imvume noma igunya lokuthi loso sibambe leso akubambele noma agcinele sona?
Angazi, angicabanga ukuthi nayo.
I don't know. I don't think he has it.
Now, you testified that at some stage you left that area to go to Top's bottle store to buy alcohol when you went to the
Naya at Top's nyothenga khona ke utshwala. Ingabe uma usuhamba noma senihamba niya at Top's wahamba yini wayosikhipa isibhamu ngoba angithi vele kufanele sibe kuwena?
Ukuphendula lapho ngesikhathi ngihamba nge-Tops isibhamu sasisekiwe.
When I went to Top's, the firearm was still with me.
And now let's move on because of the Section 35 notices, questions. I'll move on away from them. Now your testimony is that at Gwabini's place, and to use your exact word, it was busy, it was fun, it was revelry, it was music, it was dance, it was food, and the like, and with lots of comings and goings, correct?
Ushilo ukuthi kuningi nje okwakwenzeka lapha kwaGwabini, kuningi nje kwakumnandi, kwakugidwa, kwakuyingoma nje, kwakudliwa inyama. Ushilo uthi kwakubhizi nje bephuma abanye bengena abanye. Yebo? Yes.
According to your estimation, and I'm not telling you to a number, how many people were there at that place, in that revelry party, whatever?
Uma usungaqagela nje ungathi babe bangaki abantu ababe lapha yana kuleya ndawo ngaleliya langa?
Ngiyakhona ukuqagela ngoba ngithi abantu babengena babephuma kodwa kwangabantu abaningi sazazana nabo abantu bangasekhaya abangena.
I wouldn't be able to guess or to estimate. As I said that people were coming in and going out, and it was a lot of people and people that we knew that were coming from back home where we are coming from.
And your testimony then becomes that around 9 p.m. you then observed or noticed accused number 1, 2, and 3. Is that 3? Coming back and from somewhere and going into Gwabini's room, correct?
Kushilo ke ukuthi ngakuma 9 yila ubone khona ke usolo oqala owesibili owesithathu bebuya ke la ababebuya khona base beyongena ekamereni lakhe uGwabini. Yebo? Yes.
And you say that your suspicion was aroused. What caused you to be suspicious of people coming back and all of that?
Kushilo ke ukuthi yila ose waba nensolo khona ke yini ke eyabangela ukuthi ube nensolo abantu bebuya la ababebuya khona?
Njoba ngishilo ngangihleli ngoba ngangazi ukuthi erumini kaGwabini kunesibhamu sami ingakho ngangihleli la ngibheke wonke umuntu ondlula eyakhona nophumayo nongenayo.
As I said that where I was seated, I was facing Gwabini's room and I was looking at each and every person that was going in and out of that bedroom. Yebo.
Ingakho ngakwazi ukubabona mabengena beya kulo leli camera. Ingakho futhi ngasukuma ngabalandela ngoba ngangazi ngesibhamu sami.
Hence then I was able to see them as they were going to that bedroom, and I then stood up and followed them, knowing very well that in that bedroom my firearm was there.
So in essence, are you telling me that the aim was to go and secure your firearm, correct?
Wena okwakusukumisa kwakuwukuthi nje uyoqinisekisa ukuthi isibhamu sakho sisecure.
Yebo ngoba bangena belandelana beya kuleli camera ingakho nangasukuma ngaya kulo.
Yes, because as they entered they were following each other and they went to that bedroom, hence I stood up and also went there.
And further, according to your testimony, is that you observed accused number 1 in possession of a .38 revolver. I'm not familiar with guns. Is it a .38 revolver?
Yes. Tuyasho ukuthi wambona ke number 1 yena ke ephethe i.38 revolver.
And another person in possession of a 9mm. Who was that?
Ubani lo owayephethe i9mm?
Accused number 3,
umsolo wesithathu.
Can you describe the 9mm that you observed?
Ungayichaza le 9mm owayibona?
njoba ngichazile ukuthi mhlambe isibhamu nolwazi lwaso ngengikwazi ukuchaza ukuthi lesi isiphi ngesikhathi sesiside njoba ngisho ukuthi 9mm i9mm ne38 ihlukile ayifani.
Okay, as I said previously that I've got knowledge of firearms, but now because of the fact that it's been a long time since the incident occurred, but I could say that this was a 9mm, this was a .38 revolver, and because the two firearms are not the same or they don't look the same. Yeah.
Yingakho ngithi wayiphethe 9mm omunye iphethe 38.
Hence I'm saying that he was in possession of a 9mm and the other one was in possession of a .38.
But you can't tell us the make and model or the make of that 9mm.
Yeah, make and again 9mm ngiclass.
Ngeke ngikwazi ukuyichaza because ngangayithathanga ngayibheka kodwa ngayithatha nje kuye ngiyibuka ngabona ukuthi 9 le angifuna ngikwazi ukuthi yenziwe yini neRico or yipi company kodwa ngabuka nje ukuthi sibhamu 9mm then ngi38.
I just looked at the firearm and I was able to see that it was a 9mm, but as to whether it was a Norinco or what, I didn't inquire about that. I could see that this was a 9mm and this was a .38.
And could you describe the .38 revolver that you saw?
Ungayichaza yona i.38 le owayibona.
Umehluko ku-38 ne9mm ukuthi 38 nesondo.
The difference between a 9mm and the .38 is that the .38 has got a wheel
and 38 ayingenanhlamvu.
Yayingena. And the .38 had no bullet. Inhlamvu noma inhlamvu.
Oh, inhlamvu.
Okay, it had no bullets.
Okay. So in other words, the 9mm was loaded.
Yeah, I loaded on the
9mm. I was interested with 38.
Oh, okay. Right.
I didn't open the 9mm. I was interested in the .38.
Okay. And your further testimony then is that you observe the same persons accused number 1 and 3 handing the said firearms to Gwabini, correct?
Uthi wase ubabona ke yena number 1 kanye no number 3 benikeza ngazo le ibhamu lezi benikeza uGwabini.
Yebo?
Yes.
And why, in your opinion, were they handing those firearms to Gwabini?
Ngovolo wakho kwakungani benikeza ngalezo ibhamu benikeza yena uGwabini?
Ingakho ngithi nami ingakho ngabuza ukuthi why bephethe izibhamu.
Hence I said that is the reason why I inquired. Why are they in possession of firearms?
And did you get the joy of a response from either of the gentlemen?
Ngabe waphendula yini ke kulo mbuzo wakho?
Ngokusho kwabo angibangisafuna ukuthi abangiphendule ngabe sengibathethisa nje.
As they said it, or as they mentioned it, I didn't even want to know further. I just scolded them.
Let's move on and deal with this aspect of the beginning of your evidence in chief yesterday. You testified that you know, is it all or some of the accused persons in court?
Umuqala unikeza ngokufakazi ke izolo ingabe uthe ubazi bonke abamangaleli noma basola laba noma wazi abathize kubona.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngalelo langa wonke umuntu ekhona noma athiwa ngangamazi noma ngangamkhumbuli kodwa bangikhumbuza bona.
I think that what I said is that on that day, even if I knew the person or I was in a position not to be able to remember the person, but they themselves reminded me.
Especially amagama abo.
Especially their names.
Just for contextual purpose, where are you, if it's a security concern, don't answer it. Where are you from KwaZulu-Natal?
Uma kuukuthi ke kunezathu zokuvikeleka usho ke ungawuphenduluke kodwa bengifisa nje ukwazi ukuthi eKZN ubuya kuphi nendawo.
Ngizocela ngakuphendule.
Okay.
The question not to answer that.
And then let me do it this way. I don't want to risk your security at all.
Angisho nje kanjena akusiyona nje inhloso yami ukuthi ke ngabeka nje engcupheni ngempilo yakho noma security yakho.
That area where you grew up from in KwaZulu-Natal, where you say you grew up, and I'll talk about accused number 1 and 2 only. Did you grow up in that area or as a young man until you came to work as a police officer in Johannesburg, or you moved early on from that area to come and stay in Johannesburg.
Lapho ke ngizothi kuwena la owakhulela khona ke ngiphinde futhi ukuthi akusona inhloso yami ukuthi ngibeke impilo yakho engcupheni malana la usuka khona. Ukhule khona ke isikakhulukazi ngikhulumela ke umsolo wokuqala kanye nowesibili ukuthi ke ukhule lapho kwaze kwafika kwisigaba ke la ekufanele manje usuzosebenza khona ke eGoli noma wahamba ke ngaphambili kokuthi usebenze ingxenye impilo yakho wazoyihlala la eGoli ngaphambi kokuthi usebenze.
Bengahlali nabo.
I wasn't staying with them.
Bengiya khona ngoba kusekhaya ngasekhaya.
I would go there because it's my home.
And for example, when did you leave home? To come and work or study this side, whatever. What I want to find out is the gap that you last saw the persons that you say they were your neighbors. I may have forgotten their names. I was reintroduced to Infosloras.
Ngifuna nje ukwazi noma ukubheka isikhathi ukuthi kwaba isikhathi esingakanama igebe elingakanani ke ukuthi uhambe nini noma ukuthi weza ngala uzofunda noma uzosebenza. Nje ngifuna ubheka isikhathi ukuthi labantu laba othi wabakhunjuzwa uma sewuhlangana nabo ke eFosloras ukuthi kwakuyigebe elingakanani usungababoni la ukuthi kwakuwomakhelwane ekhaya.
Ngicabanga ukuthi akusona isikhathi eside ngoba angithi mawuhambile ngiya ekhaya ngiyavakasha ngama-holiday ngama-festive ngiyababona mangababonanga ngibabonanga kodwa akusikho ukuthi ngiyile ngohlala nabo no.
It was not for a long time because I would go home to go and visit during the festive season, and if I see them I would see, and if it is that I wouldn't see them then, but it's not to say that I would stay with them for a longer time.
I will during the break take instructions from both accused number 1 and 2 because they were waiting for you to finalize your evidence in chief so that they can give me instructions about this particular aspect. But let me put the other aspects that they've given me in respect to your testimony about their identification.
Lokho ke ngizothi mase siyakuthi break ke ngizozwa kubona ke ngoba belinde ukuthi nje uphothula ubufakazi bakho bazokwazi ke bangitsheleke noma ukuthi bathini ke bona ke kodwa ke angikutshela ukuthi bathini ke mayelana nokunye.
Hayi. Akangitshela.
Yes,
okay, you can tell
yes. I can tell you what they have told me in prior instructions. So remember, we got your statement 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So we are waiting for you to finalize your evidence in chief so that we can take further instructions. Now, accused one denies that he is your neighbor from home. I don't know where your home is for security reasons, but he says he's from Matabatini.
Umsola umangalelo woqala ke uyaphika ukuthi umakhelwane wakhe ke umakhelwane wakho ekhaya noma emakhaya uthi ke kumele akazi ukuthi wena ubuya kuphi kodwa yena ke uthi ubuya emahlabathini umangalelo woqala
uyaphika unamanga.
Is he denying it? He's telling lies.
Ungasizana basekhaya mangisekhaya.
He's just further down when I'm at home. He's just further down my home.
Ubaba wakhe normally.
His father is normally.
He will also testify that he's not acquainted to you and he has never socialized with you.
Uthi ke futhi akajwayelananga nawe akakazi nje ahlale nawe ke kube mnandi kungebeleke nje ndawonye.
Vele bengaze ngihlale nabo. Anyway, eGoli.
Yes, I've never been with them or socialized with them in Gauteng.
My Lord, if I may take instructions, otherwise we are going to have to seek for an adjournment so that we take proper instructions because it will be an up and down with raised hands and it won't be pretty.
What time is it?
It's just a minute after 11.
Okay, we come back at 11:30.
Because the court is